Oh my goodness, it's another Tuesday here on the 2-2 podcast. Listen, today's going to be a good episode, and it is fitting based on the events that are taking place and that have taken place for a while now. So, with that being said, you know what to do. You know to move. Grab your friends, grab your family, grab your co-workers. Grab those people you don't like. Your haters. And let's get to work. See you in a minute. Have you ever wanted to record a podcast but didn't know the way? Well, I've got good news. Let me tell you about something. It's called Anchor. And Anchor is the easiest way to record a podcast. Let me explain. It's absolutely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So here's what I need you to do. Please download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. I wanted to talk about something today. Well, two things to be exact. But I wanted to start it off by asking a question or two. First question. And this is a show of hands. This first one is an audience participation thing. I know you can't see me and I can't see you, but just imagine we're all in a room and we're having a discussion. I want to ask you this first question. And that is this, that I want to know, show hands. How many people this year have been disrespected? It should be everybody. I don't care how strong you are. Somebody has tried you this year. Somebody has tried your patience this year. Somebody has tested your gangster this year. Somebody thought something was sweet this year, and they tried and tested the waters. But I want to know again, how many people have been disrespected at some way, shape, or form this year? I know I have. And the second question is this. How many people have had to, in some way, shape, or form, ask this question to somebody when you've been disrespected? Who are you talking to like that? It's so hard when we're going through this journey through life, going on this journey through life. It's very hard to not respond in an adverse way. Especially when you're a person that is trying to grow from just snapping on people and going off on people when they disrespect you. Because in so many ways, shapes, or forms, and I'm like this, I had to go from going off on people to asserting myself in a way where I don't have to say a thing, you just know better. My demeanor tells the story that my lips don't often tell. And to be perfectly honest, here it is. My demeanor, your demeanor should tell the story. Your demeanor should say it out loud. Do not test my patience. Do not talk to me like you're crazy. It's hard sometimes to not respond and allow me to read something really quickly, because this is oftentimes a reminder of to me of how to respond to people who run their mouth about what you're doing and who you are, and they feel like They can just talk to you any kind of way because you're a nice person and you go to church and you pray and you help people and you're a community driven person and you're loving and you're sweet. They think because you're a kind person that you're a weak person, so they will run their mouth to you and don't think there are going to be adverse consequences attached to it. But let somebody know right now. Today is the day to cut people off that are disrespectful to you. Today is the day. Now is the time. This is the moment. Wherever you are, this is not the time to be disrespectful to anyone. Respect. Let's talk about this one thing. And this is a reminder to, some responses aren't always the best. You don't have to respond to everything. And this may or may not fit into what I'm talking about, but this is often my reminder. And I know I'm rambling, but I need to read this. This is from the letter from the Birmingham jail from Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wrote this in April 16th of 1963 from Birmingham jail. He said, "My dear fellow clergymen, while confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statement calling my present activities, quote unquote, unwise and untimely. Here's the part that helped me grow. Seldom do I pause to answer criticism of my work and ideas. If I sought to answer all the criticism across my desk, my secretaries would have little time for anything other than such correspondence in the course of the day, and I would have no time for constructive work. But since I feel that you are men of genuine goodwill and that your criticisms are sincerely set forth, I want to try to answer your statement in what I hope will be patient and reasonable terms." It is hard sometimes to give the benefit of the doubt when somebody is being overly critical of what you're doing. It is very hard to give people the benefit of the doubt. And normally, I wouldn't respond to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. basically stated that normally, very seldom does he respond to his critics. Very seldom does he respond to the people that don't agree with him. Very seldom does he respond. However, since you got time, I've got time. There's a point in our life where we have to say, you know what, today I have time. Usually I don't. Normally I don't, because you know what you have to say is irrelevant to anything that I'm doing. How you feel about me is irrelevant to who I am. But since you have time to keep going, I got time to respond and let you know what I'm not. Here it is. This is not the season to take disrespect from anybody. Doesn't matter who it is. This is not the season. This is not the time to take disrespect from any person. You have to take the time to build your strength and your courage, to let people know, do not try me. I'm a peaceful person, but don't push that button, because if I push that button and you make me go to a place that I don't want to go, it's not going to be good for anybody involved. I'm going to feel bad after this because I told you not to go here, but you kept going there. You kept pressing the button. You kept saying things to me. You kept saying things behind my back. I kept finding out, and I kept ignoring you. And very seldom do I respond to disrespect. But I've had it. But it's hard to give people the benefit of the doubt. Martin Luther King Jr. gave these folks the benefit of the doubt. Normally, I don't respond to my critics, and if I took the time to respond to my critics, I wouldn't get anything constructive done. Oftentimes, we find ourselves in a place where we're always responding to what other people have to say to us, and nothing that we get to do involving what we have to do with our lives ever gets done. Simply because we've taken more time to respond to tweets and text messages and DMs about disrespect more than ignoring them and getting them done. And sometimes you have to respond. Sometimes you have to let somebody know. This is for my ladies who get them ill-advised text messages from people, them DMs. This is why a lot of people say no DMs. Because sometimes people say some disrespectful, ugly, nasty stuff in people's DMs. This is why people say no DMs. Because the disrespect has gone too far. I understand now the no DM situation. I understood it before, but I understand it a whole lot more because there's a situation in our lives where we have people that feel like they can say anything to anybody, and that's just what it goes. What I say goes. And you're going to like what I said, and you're going to respond to what I said, or else you're going to face the consequences. No, today is the day to let people know, I don't care what you have to say. I'm fired up today for some reason, and I don't know why I'm so fired up and so passionate about this, but I got to let somebody know that's being disrespected by somebody's boyfriend, by a boyfriend, by a significant other, by a friend that you thought was your friend. I want to let somebody know right now. Today is the day to let them know, if you're going to stay in my life, if you're going to be around me, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to treat me that way. Today is the day. This is the moment. I'm getting tired of being talked to the way that you talk to me. Our significant others are disrespectful. They feel that because they have a certain level of access to us, that access also includes talking to me any kind of way. And today, I want not only that, I also want to talk about, how our family will disrespect us. Today, listen, I understand that as well. Our families disrespect us as well. I understand it perfectly because a lot of times I deal with the disrespect from family members. Deal with disrespect from family members. They talk to you any kind of way. How many people got family members that just talk to anybody any type of way at any point? How many people got that? I know I do. Where they feel like they're better than you, they're doing something better than you. So instead of telling you the way to go, they run their mouth and tell you what you're not doing and what you're not accomplishing and where you haven't been. I've had friends that have done this where they have talked about what I haven't done and what I haven't accomplished, and what friends, or so I thought. We got friends and family and all that. And we need to understand, once again, that we must put our foot down and let people know this is not how this is going to go. So how do people disrespect us? What are common signs of disrespect? And please write these down. These are some things that how we get in ways we get disrespected. They don't listen. You got some people that just don't listen. They rather run their mouth. Haven't we seen that a lot in the past few months? We got people that would rather talk than listen. We got people that would rather divide than unite. We got people that would rather be bigoted than to unite. I'm calling out whoever this hits. They don't listen. It's my way or the highway. It's my way or you're a traitor. It's my way or you're this. It's my way or that. We got a whole lot of disrespect in this way because nobody wants to listen because everybody wants to talk. We got too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Too many sheriffs and not enough deputies. I hate to use that phrase in this climate. We got too many captains and not enough players. We got too many coaches and not enough players. We got too many people trying to lead when they don't have the leadership skills to do so. And the reason why they don't have the leadership skills to lead is because they don't know how to listen. They don't listen. And so what they feel is leadership is actually coming off. What they feel is coming off as leadership is actually disrespect. You're going to do what I say, or you can go on. It's not leadership. It's disrespect. Number 2, for the reasons, for common signs of disrespect, they interrupt. How many people have been disrupted and interrupted in some way, shape, or form? You're trying to talk and they just talk over you and they talk over you and they talk over you and you're trying to get your point across. I understand that. I get in conversations where I get talked over and I just go, you know what, I'm done with this conversation because you're not going to let me talk. And we're not going to have to continue to have this conversation while you're being the way that you are. We're not going to do it. If we're going to talk, I'm going to let you have your time. I'm going to have my time. We're going to ping pong back and forth. But doggone it, we're not going to interrupt each other. We're not going to talk over each other. And if you don't want to have that type of conversation, then go find somebody else to argue. Matter of fact, argue with yourself. Interrupt yourself. But you won't interrupt me. They're interrupted. They're interrupting. They're interruptive. They like to talk at you. They like to talk at you. They talking at you. They like to argue. They want to yell, scream, wave their arms, and cuss, and all that. They don't want to talk to you. They'll talk at you. They'll say whatever they feel. And feel that's just, that's just who I am. That's just who I am. And if you don't like who I am, you can go on somewhere. That's just who I am. That's who I'm built like that. I'm made like that. No, that's not how it goes. You're not going to talk at me. You're going to talk to me. And if you're not going to talk to me and you decide to talk at me, go talk to yourself. But you won't disrespect me by talking at me. There's so many people these days that want to talk at people, but not talk to people. They'll talk at you. They'll talk behind you. Oh, here we go. Another sign of disrespect. They talk behind your back. They smile in your face. All the while they want to take your place. The OJ's made a song called Backstabbers. And don't nobody stab you in the back like the one that smiles in your face. Backstabbers. They smile in your face. But they talk behind your back. They demean you. They talk about how stupid they think you are, or how dumb your idea is. They talk about that. They run their mouth. We've been filled with a lot of people that talk behind our back. This disrespect has gone too stinking far. They talk behind your back and act like everything's okay. They ignore boundaries. See, this is a season where we set boundaries and raise standards. And the standards that we are part of, the standards that are that we think are being raised, aren't standards at all. Let's just keep it real. Talk to me here. Don't act like you've been hiding under a rock. Don't do it. The standards that we think we have aren't standards at all. And so we must raise our standards. We must be willing to raise our standards and change our culture. And the changing of a culture starts with you. Starts with you and how you and what you tolerate. And you are not allowed in this season to tolerate people's disrespect. You don't tolerate people's disrespect. You don't have to tell them that I'm not going to tolerate the disrespect. You don't have to tell. There are some teachers. I'll tell you something funny. Let me tell you a quick story. I had a teacher in high school who didn't talk much. He only talked about what was going on in the classroom. He had no conversations outside of that. There were no conversations about extracurricular activities. There were no conversations about, hey, how you were doing. How you doing? There were none of those. When he greeted you, he said hi. It was hi and bye and on to the work. There were no extracurricular conversations. And there were plenty of times where there were kids in his class that tested his patience because he didn't talk much. He didn't say much. He didn't do much except teach. He was stoic. He was statuesque. I'm not going to say he was stale, but he was very meat and potatoes, cut and dry. He was to the basics. He was straightforward. He was shoot at the hip. He was right there. He was a straight and arrow. That's just where he was. And I remember one time somebody decided to test his boundaries. Somebody tried to test him. And for the first time, he went off. In his own way, shape, and form, he went off. The kid got suspended, and nobody tested his patience ever again. Nobody tested him ever again. I'll tell you a greater story, even more personal story. My great-grandfather. This is my hero. This is somebody who I've looked up to and still look up to this day. He taught me a valuable lesson. That you don't have to talk. You don't have to say a thing to let people know that you're not one to be messed with or to be trifled with or to be talked to disrespectful, talked to with disrespect or to be treated with disrespect. Great grandfather taught me that, and so in so many ways, shapes, and forms, people watched what they said around him or to him. He wasn't a tall man, but his spirit, his demeanor, his disposition spoke louder than what he had to say. Call it, a person, call it a man of no emotion, call it a man with repressed emotion, call it what you want. He wasn't an emotional guy. But boy, if you disrespected that man, There would be hell to pay. And I learned, because I was a person that everybody could get to. You could say whatever and I would just go out, cuss you out, go off, say, yes, me, cussing people out. Yes, I would cuss you out. I would say whatever. I would take a swing. I would throw a punch. I would do whatever I needed to do to let you know, don't ever do that again. I was that type of person, but I had to learn the value of, don't respond with words. Let your demeanor do the talking. I'm quick to cut somebody off without letting them know that I need to cut them off. There's somebody right here that is constantly telling people on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and IG, on Twitter and any other social media platform that you have, that you are going to cut people off. You do it every year. You do it every January. Do it every January 1st. You do it on New Year's Eve, December 31st. You do it. You always write that message. Don't act like you never did it before. Don't sit here and be coy with me. Don't sit here and act like I ain't never did that before. You definitely have did it before, where you've wrote that message. If I don't send you a Happy New Year, I left you in the previous year. And oftentimes, we don't end up doing it. Because in a lot of cases, we want to see how many people truly like us. We're so starved for attention that we'll put a post up like that to see how people will respond. Don't act like you've never done that before. Some people are still doing it. But I want to let somebody know that some of you need to cut off disrespect and leave it in the previous year. Leave it in the previous month. Leave it in the previous week. Leave it in the previous day. Leave it there. Don't wait till January 1st. Don't wait till December 31st. Don't wait till New Year's to start cutting people off that disrespect you. You don't even have to say it. You don't even have to let them know. Sometimes you just gotta cut them off, just to let them know that you've crossed the line way too many times. And I've given you the benefit of the doubt to stop, to cut it out, to never do it again. Giving you the opportunity. And you continue to not do the right thing. Your demeanor must change. They got to feel you before you even speak a word. They got to feel you. This is not the season to deal with disrespectful people. So I encourage those of you right now that are in a disrespectful situation. They're being disrespected by family members. They're being disrespected by a significant other. They're being disrespected by friends, that you have to be willing to put your foot down and let people know. And ask that question without even saying it sometimes. Who are you talking to like that? Because our conversations must change in order to see growth and progression in our lives. Hey, listen, thank you for joining the show today. Don't forget to follow the show page and my personal page. The show page is 22_podcast. That is 22_podcast on Instagram. And my personal page at AlexJ_live. That is AlexJ_live. Please don't forget the 22 podcast has merch. That's on 22apparel.threadless.com. That is 22apparel.threadless.com. See you soon.